Hey guys, this is Real Life Issues again. I'm Jason Tew, and today we were with Nate Osgood, and you notice that Tim is not here. Tim Lawrence.
I'm a lot better looking replacement for Tim.
He is a lot better looking replacement than Tim. I think everybody would agree with that. He's probably quieter than Tim also. But Tim is not here for a reason.
That's true.
The reason he's not here is because
Breaking news.
breaking news. Tell everyone.
Well, Brother Tim had a heart attack right at 2.5 weeks ago now.
He is one active, in shape man, and he was playing pickleball.
Sure was.
It made the news.
It did. It did. So he collapsed in between a couple of pickleball games with a heart attack, and there was actually an off-duty Montgomery firefighter who happened to be there playing with them in their group, who began CPR and actually got Brother Tim back. And he was sitting up talking before they even took him to the hospital. I know it's hard to believe that Tim was talking.
No, say it's not so.
But no, and of course that led to being transferred to Birmingham, and he went in for triple bypass surgery and ended up having to have quadruple bypass surgery. And he is now home and on the road to recovery. So we are certainly praying for him. I talked to him, I guess it was yesterday. I talked to him briefly, and he's doing well. He's got a long road still of recovery, but can't wait for him to be back here and be back in church and all the other things that he does.
I just got the phone with him a moment ago, and he was excited about things to come, and I think he's been cooped up by as long as he could. He asked when he could start back playing pickleball and cutting his grass and all of that, and the doctor said, maybe later, but not right now. But anyway, he is doing well, and God is good. God is good no matter. He protects us in this life and the next. But as he is down, we've been talking with Brother Nate anyway. Nate Osgood was the youngest ever hired fire chief in Alabama, correct?
Well, for a paid department, yes.
For a paid department,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. So that I was promoted to the fire chief position in March of 20 on my 30th birthday.
Right.
Was my first day as the fire chief in Sylacauga, and as far as I'm aware, 6 years later, I'm still the youngest fire chief of a paid department. There are some there are younger ones of volunteer departments.
Right. Right.
So that was kind of an early career goal of mine.
Sure.
I really worked right from the beginnings to kind of set the foundations for what that looked like administratively. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love doing the job. I love getting my hands dirty, but it's kind of a niche for me, and not everybody wants to be the fire chief.
Right.
Not everybody wants to deal with all of the political madness that can come along with that and everything else.
I was going to talk about that. Were you expecting all of the? Because hey, I don't know anything about Sylacauga politics, but I do know
it's the same
about local
it's
politics.
The same everywhere. I can assure you.
I do know that the fire station has to deal with a lot of politics.
Right.
So were you ready for that?
I think I was ready, like anybody's ready to be a parent.
Right. Yeah.
You set yourself up for success, but you never really know what you're getting into until you get there.
Right.
I
and
knew.
Tomorrow's a new day. It could be anything, something brand new tomorrow.
You were not lying about that.
Yeah.
No, it was. I certainly knew some of what I was getting into.
Sure.
I don't think I knew how deep the waters actually were.
Right.
But thankfully I can swim okay,
so
I'm still here.
Right.
It's my job as the fire chief is to kind of be the bridge, or maybe sometimes the insulator between the four walls of the fire station and some of the drama that happens in the political realm.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can't necessarily always do that.
Right.
But that's one of my many responsibilities, I feel, as the fire chief. So, that's what I try to do. And
the load of the financial burden, trying to get the latest equipment, trying to advocate for those things, and deal with rejection, and at the same time be a lady when they give you something you didn't ask for?
I don't know that that's ever happened,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but no, it's in leadership principles, which I know that's kind of on our agenda today.
Right, right.
It's I'm no longer responsible for doing the job. I'm no longer responsible for going out and actually performing the life-saving measures. I'm now responsible for the people who are responsible for the people who go do that.
Right.
So I at times miss being able to get my hands dirty, so to speak.
Right.
But at the same time, I also get really excited when I know that all of the boots on the ground, that I guess in the command structure would be subordinate to me, when they have all the tools and all the training and all the equipment and all of the everything they need to
Right.
go out and do the job to the best that they can.
Right. Right. How do you deal with negative people?
So the buzzword in leadership is culture.
Right.
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 You develop a culture.
Right.
There's also terms there in leadership that 80% of or 20% of your people take 80% of your time.
Right.
So
right.
and I have absolutely found that to be true.
My wife just showed me a video, and the video was, whenever you said the word buzz, made me think of it. But it says there's two types of people in this video. It's a TikTok video, but it said there's two types of people. There's one type that is a fly that goes into a garden and it goes buzz around a beautiful, beautiful flower garden, but it will find the one animal excrement and it will land on it. But then you have a bee that will fly around and it will find the prettiest flower and it will go right straight to that. So it was asking, are you a fly that's always going to the bad stuff, or are you a bee that's always highlighted on the good stuff and pollinating that? And I thought that was good. Do you see that usually negativity drips negativity and positivity drips positivity?
Oh, without question. Yeah, absolutely. You get the one cancer cell in a group.
Yeah.
And pretty soon you have a whole lump of cancer.
Right.
Cancer cells.
Right.
I am so blessed as the fire chief in Sylacauga that we are so limited in the amount of that we have.
Right. And most people that see in your business are people that have hearts of giving.
Yeah.
So if someone's broke down on the side of the road, they're just going to just naturally stop to try to help them because they had naturally, the Lord's granted them with a heart of being a giver.
At the end of the day, and I mean, we deal with the whole gamut, the whole spectrum of anything you can dream of. In the fire service, I've always said that if somebody dials 911 and they don't need an ambulance,
right,
and they don't need a police officer,
right,
the fire department gets everything else.
Right.
And our job is to show up and fix it.
Right.
Whatever the everything else is,
right,
if it's not a law enforcement matter
right,
and you're not hurt,
right,
it's our job to fix it.
Right.
And
it could be someone who's actually had a fatality within an accident, or it could be a fire where there's a fatality, or someone just lost everything, or it could be that one person that's not sick but needs the attention, and they call you every single night to go, and it's just to be turned away and come back. Correct? It's all in between.
We tell all the silly stories about, teenagers that think it's going to be funny to get in the baby swings on the playground and they get stuck, and guess who has to go cut them out? That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Sometimes people's ability to not be smart is our job security.
Right.
So, but it's. As the fire chief, I don't make the department. I don't make any of the department. It's really easy to be on top when you have great people holding you up.
Sure.
And that's what I'm so blessed with, in my role as the fire chief.
Sure.
And really that kind of stems over into life as a whole.
Sure. But I think that's also a leadership trait. You have some people who lead through dictatorship. You have some people who lead through servant leadership. Somebody's laissez-faire, just do as you want to do, you know what I mean, and we'll just try to just fix what's going on. But I think that the servant leadership, you're there to provide for the guys, is the key, which is a model that Christ gives us as well.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You know, you mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, firefighters get into the business because we want to help people.
Sure.
You know, I mean, there's all kinds of other fun and, fun things, and the lights and the sirens and the adrenaline junkies, and, we get it all. But at the end of the day, we want to help people.
Right.
And that really comes from a Christian perspective. That comes from a heart of love.
Right.
And there are themes, there are biblical themes throughout the entire life of Jesus. Mm-hmm. Leaders are there to protect. Mm-hmm. Leaders are there to empower. Mm-hmm. But you look at 2 Corinthians 13, where he talks about love, and it's funny because you back up to chapter 12 where it's talking about all the spiritual gifts and
1 Corinthians 13.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, go ahead.
Slipped up there. 1 Corinthians.
Okay, yeah.
And we so often, I'm totally guilty of it.
Sure.
We so often we read the Bible in the chapters and forget that the chapters were added,
right.
only in modern times.
Right. It's a letter.
And it's a letter. And so if you look at the crossover between chapter 12 and chapter 13,
That's correct.
Those few verses at the end of chapter 12 and chapter 13, start to go, man, you can do all of these amazing things.
Right.
You can speak in tongues. You can prophesy.
Right,
you can
right.
heal. You can.
Right.
But if you don't have love,
That's right.
it's all for nothing.
That's correct.
It's meaningless. It's worthless. It's nothing but a noisy, clanging cymbal.
Right. And you can go to someone in love that would be a problem normally, but they can tell if you're coming in love or not. You truly care.
Yep.
And you're not holding any records or wrongs. You're just coming to them like that chapter says.
Yes.
And people will open back up and be.
Yeah, love doesn't mean you don't discipline.
That's correct.
I mean,
That's
as
right.
a parent, you discipline your children.
That's right.
Because you love. You get onto them when they run out in the parking lot.
That's right.
Not because you don't like them, but you do that out of love because
right.
you know
That's
the
right.
dangers that are hidden within that.
Let me ask you a question. Speaking of love, firefighters deal with a lot. They see a lot. PTSDs from things that they've seen. And I was reading something somewhere, I forget where it was, but it talked about firefighters. They're different than most because they don't know what the outcome, and police officers, the outcome is of what happened, the accident that they worked, or the fire that went on. They never get to see the end result. So it's like an unfinished problem that deals with them without them even knowing it.
Yes.
Because there's no conclusion.
It's
to that.
It's absolutely incredible. So for anybody who's watching who doesn't know, the way these things work is we kind of come up with a basic topic, but we don't pre-discuss anything. And Jason and Tim didn't. We haven't.
Yeah.
We just kind of said, hey, we're going to do this thing about leadership, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to see where it goes.
Right.
I had a conversation about this earlier today.
Really? Oh, so you educated on it.
Earlier today, I was just having a conversation about this very topic. So we in the fire service are behind the 8 ball on the mental health side of things.
Right.
And thankfully, we are coming along now.
Right.
We have we've recognized the problem. The military is probably ahead of us.
Right. Sure.
In dealing with some of it,
Sure.
and so the mental trauma side of things, and you're 100% right. A lot of times we don't know. You go to a call, and there's one in particular that sticks out in my mind, and it was the week before Christmas. It was either 2018 or 2019. I don't remember which year, but I remember it was the week before Christmas, maybe even been the week of Christmas, and there was a person who was driving through Sylacauga. They were a student at Auburn, and they were heading home somewhere north of there, and they were coming through, and it was raining. I mean, it was raining so hard that I don't know that you and I would have been able to see each other.
Yeah.
And this person hydroplaned and slid into a tree, and it was one of the most difficult vehicle extrications I've ever worked. Just one of those. And it's not that anything went wrong. It was just everything about it was hard. And to this day, I don't know if I did any good that day.
Right.
I don't know if I made a difference that day.
Right.
Now there are other times, there are other days where you do get that.
Sure.
You know, I mean, take the situation with Brother Tim.
Right.
And Lieutenant Gilmore from Montgomery Fire.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he made a difference that
Right.
day.
That's right.
And that is, there's no feeling, better than that.
Yeah.
But there are a lot, and then on the mental trauma side of things too, is since you hit on it, I had a now retired captain in the department who he always said, everybody has the one call, the one emergency call that will break them. You may never run it, but it exists for everybody.
Right.
And there's some truth to that, but I also think what that misses is the repeated small traumas that we deal with.
Right.
It's not just the one huge traumatic incident.
Right.
It's the day in and day out
Right.
of these little traumas. And we have learned, again,
Right.
in the fire service, the human body and the human psyche were not necessarily meant to see the things that firefighters see,
Right.
certainly not on a repetitive basis.
Right.
And yet we do.
Right.
And there's a lot of ways to combat that. And again, we are getting there as a fire service. But one of the great ways that I help to process a lot of that, again, as a Christian, we understand that God ordains life, that God gives life, and at the end of the day, God is in charge of when there is no more life here on this earth.
Right.
And so, while sin ultimately is what causes the heartbreaking incidents, the life-shortening or life-altering incidents here
Right.
on this earth, we know that God's in control of all of it, and nothing happens outside of His will.
And if we're believers, we're going to a place where that sin no longer exists.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
there's a change there.
And I will tell you, on the mental side of things, that I don't, and a lot of firefighters don't have a big problem with the blood and the guts and the death or the
Right.
the whatever, but I have calls, where we've had an incident. Where there's been a fatality, whether it be in a car wreck or a fire or
Sure.
or a heart attack or
Right.
whatever the event is, and there are days I lay in bed at night and I go, I wonder if that person is sitting at the right hand of Jesus
Right.
or burning in the pits of hell.
Right.
I don't,
Right.
I don't know anything about the people that I interact with in those situations. I have no way of knowing.
In that, I know you're in a public situation also. So, and we do have a separation in this country of church and state. And I'm one of those that personally believes that that exists so that the state can't get into the church more than the church not getting into the state.
I think you said that on Sunday.
I did say that on Sunday. So did our...
See, I was listening to your sermon.
Yeah. But, and Ben said that also as well. Both of us said
Yes.
that. But I'm a believer in that. How do you balance that?
This is an area that I probably need. I probably need to work on personally. So, in a professional role, I've kind of always approached it as this is me as a part of the body of Christ, being the hands and feet of Christ.
Right.
And if I can't, and can't's probably not the right word because there are instances where I can. Again, this is
Sure.
this hits home for me probably. But if there are situations where I can't or don't feel I should verbally or directly witness to somebody about Jesus, about the Bible, about salvation, then the actions that I am doing in somebody's time of need are exhibiting, Christ's love to them.
Right.
And so, but I absolutely, and I don't know, did you and I have this conversation?
One time.
Did we? Okay. I couldn't remember if it was us or Tim. At some point, I need to do a better job of recognizing when God puts somebody in my path, and for me to more overtly minister to.
Right.
And that's something that I need to work on in my own personal.
First responders dealing with people they could be at an instant about to lose, to transition from this world to the next. Mm-hmm. And so there's
and I'll tell you a story on that. And I have heard this story time or similar stories time and time again. So just over 3 years ago now, I believe it was, and some may remember the news. The Lifesaver helicopter that was based out of Sylacauga crashed in Chelsea. Mm-hmm. And it killed the pilot and the flight nurse who was on board. The flight medic survived. Mm-hmm. They did not have a patient on board at the time. The flight medic was also a part-time firefighter for us in the Sylacauga Fire Department. And there was story after story after story of him praying for patients in that helicopter while they were in transit from point A to the hospital.
That's right. That's good.
And I mean, it just time and time and time again, you'd hear either people he prayed with, or people who witnessed him praying with people. Right. And he would just, and whether it was, like you said, whether it was somebody on the brink of death or just simply somebody who was, going to have a road to recovery or whatever.
Right. That's amazing. And not only do you do that from a servant's heart, all right, not only does all firefighters do this.
Yes.
There's not many firefighters that I know that don't have a second job. And the reason for that is because I'm a retired school teacher. You don't go into school teachers thinking, well, I need to start finding a wealth management person to start helping me with my stuff. Because it is a heart of giving is why you want to do that.
Yes.
And because of the amount of people and the amount of money that's given out, there's only so much money. So we do it more because of a calling than for a profit. But most of them I know have side jobs like cutting grass or painting, or they're builders and they work on and then they work off.
Plumbers, HVAC.
And then at the same time, a lot of volunteer firefighters work both jobs, and then all of a sudden they get a call out at night and then they have to go. So not only do they have separate jobs, they also have families. Before we get to the families, I want to cover the second job. Okay?
Sure.
In our church, Nate is the most gifted technology person I have ever dealt with. And I've dealt with a lot. I've dealt with friends of mine who's put in major places for stadiums. I have people, friends of mine who act like they know a lot. But the truth of the matter is that Nate does. Our church is set up, and it had nothing before. It's set up unbelievably well, and everything is crisp and clear and perfect because he does all that. But you know what? He don't get a paycheck for that. And so he is serving the Lord on his own time. Every Sunday he's here trying to manage a system also. He tries to work a funeral. He set it up if he can, or whatever, or a podcast. He has we'll call him on the phone. He'll say, hit that button, and then we'll hit this button, and then we can operate. He does all of that, and he's got a side business that is also, what's the name of the side business? cornerstone that he and Tim are kind of together in. Tim is the well, he's not the beauty. He's the mouth, and you are the hardware. Yeah, that's it. But no, they work together, helping churches and different people just like that to have sounds. They either work with someone that has a sound system, trying to just get the most out of what they got, or they can come in and put in whatever they need in order to make that happen. But I said all that to say this. Hey, and if you will, put a card up there. I mean, that would be nice. You know,
Sure.
if someone's watching. I'm telling you, you have a point of reference right here, and I'm not just saying that because here I would tell you the truth. He is awesome.
Well, and this is something that's super new that Tim and I have kind of been, just kind of cooking on the back burner.
Right.
So, we know that there are churches out there who struggle with their sound or video systems, and our heart, and again, as servants, we don't want to come in and make necessarily the biggest, flashiest, most
Right.
expensive LED wall that you can ever create,
Right.
but if you don't have at least decent sound quality and decent video, it distracts
That's right.
people from hearing the word.
That's right.
And that's all our heart is we want to ensure that when somebody walks into a church, they can clearly hear God's beauty in both spoken word and music.
Because of hearing impaired,
Yes.
ADHD, one glitch, and I'm out, and I done forgot everything that was said and won't listen to anything else. So it is very good. It's a very good ministry. But you try to manage that as well as a family. Now, here's a wife. Your wife's name?
Brittany.
Brittany.
Yep.
And Brittany does our media stuff on the screens. I will send off my sermon, and she can make it look amazing. Put something in last second, take something out. Unbelievable what she can do. But Brittany is.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said I was managing it, but it is definitely a team.
He has put the sound in where it's at, but like in their family, she's the beauty of that situation. So
No doubt about that.
But then on top of that, you also have 7 children.
I hope you were sitting down for that, because I know that's
7 children. Now, then with that, how do you balance firefighting, church, the gift of service with the family?
at times not very well. So it's that we have had challenges with that.
Sure.
For sure. Just trying to figure out what that balance is. There have been days where I've spent too much time up here at the church working.
Oh yeah.
And I start getting phone calls and text messages going,
Yeah.
"Where are you? Why haven't you communicated with me?"
Yeah.
So
A pastor hears that same exact
as
text.
as
So, go
crazy
ahead.
as it sounds, you can put the church above your family.
And that is not right.
And that is-
not right. Go ahead.
It's a constant state of learning what that balance is, listening to understand, not just to hear, and working together as a team
Right.
to make that make those priorities correct.
Well, and as a pastor, I'm so happy that Nate is a server. I'm glad that the job that he has, this serving people, actually saving lives, not just saying that to say it, actually saving lives, empowering other people to save lives. So it's not just addition, but multiplication. He's in a community where he can help save lives. And then here at church, he makes it so people can hear the word, and he is saving lives. And those are good leadership places. But for me as a pastor, the number one leadership place that I care about is with your family.
Yes.
And so, in depth, what does that look like for you as a young parent that's a professional, and still a follower of Christ, a diligent follower of Christ. What does that look like in that leadership role? Tell us about your family.
Yeah, so I mean, certainly that starts with my wife.
Sure.
Starts with serving her. You know, I mean, this isn't supposed to be a relationship podcast,
Right.
but it could get there real quick
It's leadership.
if we go
It's
there.
leadership, yeah.
So I mean, love your wife as Christ loves the church.
That's right.
You know, you lay yourself down for her. So that's the foundation.
Right.
And I say that because I know from firsthand experience with, I don't think this is something that Brittany and I have ever struggled with, but I know that I've talked with other couples and other people who it has, where their kids become the focal point of their relationship.
That's exactly right.
And so that's why I make so much emphasis on it. Starts with my wife, not it starts with my kids.
Let me intervene in that. You don't want a wife that you serve side by side with. Friends serve side by side. You want a wife you're serving face to face with intimate connection. So when we're on the relationship side, your kids come second to your spouse.
Yes.
Let's just say that. But y'all do a good job with this, and I know he don't want to brag, but I've witnessed his wife has great leadership skills inside of the home. Mm-hmm. The kids have a discipline, and they operate off a discipline there within that home. They work together on that plan, and Nate works outside, but he also works inside. Many times when he's here working, he brings the kids with him to give her a break and different things.
Yeah, well, and we made the decision very early on. When I say very early on, I mean I'm talking with our first daughter. Yeah. You know, we made the decision that I was going to work outside the home, and Brittany was going to stay at home. Mm-hmm. You know, we homeschool all 7.
Right.
You know, now there are people out there who have made comments like, "Oh, so Brittany doesn't work." Well, that's absolutely not true. She probably works harder than I do most days.
And his children are brilliant and read and do way above any grade that they're supposed to be in. So let me say that she does an excellent job with the education system.
Yes.
But they're very intelligent kids.
Well, and at the end of the day, when it comes to, you know, Monday through Friday daily life, I mean, Brittany's the glue that holds everything together.
Sure.
It's not me.
Sure.
But no, it's, you know, again, it is a constant struggle. It's an everyday learning mindset.
Right.
To better yourself, better your family, better your relationships with one another, and do all of that with the instruction that Christ gave us to do it.
Sure. Now, we came on here to talk about leadership. Is there anything that you was kind of in your mind that you had kind of focused, or maybe you have a question on me, or just some information you'd like to just throw out there that maybe I missed in my weak attempt to offer a question? Because we do not pre-plan this. We don't even talk about it. We just come together and conversation begins.
I think it's flowed great.
Yeah.
But no, I will say the one other thing that I think is paramount when it comes to leadership. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of great secular leadership books out there. I mean, you've got the Simon Sinek's of the world, and you know, I mean, there's all kinds of great wisdom to be gleaned, even if it's not necessarily from a Christian perspective. But the word humility.
Humility. We talked about that Sunday.
And you know, so often when people start talking about humility, they think about somebody who just lets themselves get walked on.
Yeah.
You know, a milk toast. You know, I mean, it's just, and that's not what humility is. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking more of others. Is lifting others up.
Can I interject on this?
Sure.
Humility with weakness is being walked on and being humble during that. Humility with strength added together creates another word, and that's called meekness. Meekness is being strong, but yet being humble while being strong. I think of the giant horses, the draft horses.
Yes.
They could stomp any fence down. They could stomp anybody down that they want that would mess with them. But yet they choose to withhold all that strength and for a purpose that is there. They're not walked on. They're not walked on, but they're humble enough to be a servant to someone else. So,
yeah, no, and that's absolutely right. And I heard another definition, and I don't remember it completely, but it was humility is the freedom from your own pride, and there was another word, and I don't remember what it was. And I think there's a lot of truth to that when you have humility, you are allowing yourself the freedom from others' expectations.
That's right. That's right.
And I think that again incorporates a lot of Christ's attitudes.
That's right.
That realistically true freedom is only found.
That's right.
In Christ.
That's right.
But story after story after story of Jesus' life,
That's right.
He washed other people's feet,
That's right.
and not only did he just wash other people's feet, he went and these are the things that make the Bible come alive. That so often we don't do a good job in the church as a whole.
Sure.
Of really, but clothing, what you wore back then was so important.
That's right. That's right. Whether it was purple or
and
or if you had an ephod or whatever you had on you,
and
to
people,
design it, yeah.
in today's modern world, we don't harp on that.
Right.
Not only did Jesus wash his disciples' feet, he went and changed his clothing before he did it.
That's right. That's right.
To a servant's clothing.
That's right.
And that in their society potentially would have spoken even more to the disciples than
Right.
the actual act of washing the feet itself.
And there's an argument out there. If you read the scriptures, you can decide for yourself. But some people say that Jesus actually washed the feet of course, we're in Elmore County. They washed the feet. No, Jesus actually washed the feet
Yes.
of Judas. I'm one that believes that he did. I believe that he did. Now, in Scripture, it's kind of hazy.
Sure.
So, because there's different places and different encounters of people that saw and where the placement is, and so, but I believe that he did, and I think that says a lot also. That not only was he humble to the people that he was serving, he was humble to those that didn't like him either.
And that he knew
was going
would betray him.
and was stabbing him in the back.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway. Anything else?
No, I mean that's leadership is you don't have to be somebody special to be a leader.
That's right. That's right.
The only requirement to be a leader is to have at least one person that's willing to follow you.
That's exactly right.
That's the only requirement.
That's exactly right.
And if you're a parent, you're automatically a leader.
There we go. There we go.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
There we go.
And whether that's in a workplace, whether that's in friendships, whether that's in the church,
Right.
and as leaders, it is our job to take that role with excellence.
Sure.
Which, by the way, again, splitting hairs on definitions, but I think it's important. A lot of people consider excellence to being the best, but excellence is being your best.
That's right. Striving to be the best.
And so being a leader with excellence, with humility, with love, and ultimately emulating the life of Jesus.
That's it. That's it. There's if you're going to move somebody to where they are transitioned into someone else, or if you're going to have someone, trying to think of the word, where they are, oh my goodness, it's in Romans 12:2. Uh, be not conformed to the world, but be transformed. In order to transform somebody, most of the time, that is because it's transformational leadership. Usually that's done through transactional leadership, where I do something for you, not just because you are who you are. And so usually from that, it comes back the other way. The person that can lead me the most is my mother, because my mother is going to have supper ready for me. And if I'm coming to her house, or she knows I'm coming over and she's going to grab a banana, or she's going to grab me something to drink or whatever. And it's because it's transactional. I know she loves me by doing. My wife loves me. She serves our family. She serves our children. Of course, they're all grown and gone, but she still serves them. And it's a transactional thing. And so therefore, I give her love, and that's transactional as well. And she gives me respect. So I think that transformational leadership comes from transaction, which is what you're talking about, servant leadership. I give you this, and without expectation, but it's just natural, they give back.
Right.
Same.
Well, and that's the key. You know, it's you're not doing it expecting
Yeah.
reciprocity.
Right.
You're doing it out of love.
That's right. This has been Real Life Issues, and this is Nate Osgood, the fire chief from Sylacauga Fire Department, and which is Sylacauga is, now I know that they're the marble capital, and that's good, but they're also the capital of Bluebell ice cream, and I like some Bluebell ice cream. So anyway, but thank you, Nate, for coming on. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for serving the people and for being with us today.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for inviting me.
We'll see you again. Thank you.